incremental operation, whatever you want to do, and then we'll do the action inside the for loop. Correct? Now,
Yeah.
there's a chance that like anytime you have any particular looping you have to do, like you have to rotate the data inside, like here we are also rotating, right? 0 to 9, we are rotating here. So anytime you want to rotate any data or carry on with the loop, most probably you're gonna go ahead with the for loop only. Okay, the for loop is the most used looping uh, syntax. Other than using while or do while, people mostly uses the for loop. And like for the if condition, we had the nested if, right? For one if, like what I'm trying to say, that for one if condition, inside it again I have another condition. This is possible, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
this will be called
Yes,
as
sir.
nested if. That means
Nested
if
if.
one particular condition satisfies, then inside it will check another condition, and based on that, the output will come to the user. So it's called nested if. The same way, there will be nested for loops. Okay. So like inside a for loop, I can create another for loop wherein j equals to 10, j greater than 0, j minus minus. So what I have done here, so if the compiler comes here, what it will see? It will see that, okay, integer is getting started 0, it's less than 10, it will increment by 1, and it will print the value of 1. Correct? It will start from the 0 only, like 0 to 9.
Yes.
And
Yes, sir.
when it's satisfying this particular system.out.println, it is gonna come to the next line also. It's gonna check that, okay, boss, there is another for loop which has the value of 10 and it's less than 0. So it would be j minus minus. I don't know. Let's print with the star. So this is called a nested for loop structure. So one is in incremental status, one is in decremental status. Okay, both can be incremental. You don't have to worry about that. The condition of incremental, decremental, both, like it depends on your condition what you want to do. I just wanted to like do this incremental, decremental both. That's why I have done. Now, what is the advantage of for loop? Did you guys anyone see? What is the advantage of it?
Code optimization.
If you know the, I mean, know the iterations in advance, how many number will be fixed, if the exactly I don't know, Amitabh. Actually, I have listened somewhere that if the iterations are known to us in advance, we can use a for loop.
Okay, the iterations we know already the in advance. Okay, correct.
Hmm.
Anyone like what do you can you explain what it means?
Conditions.
I mean,
It's
if the
like
conditions, if
it's
you want to know
It
a
control
number
the
how
of
many
behavior of the
rotation
program.
will be code repeatedly. We know that
See,
we use the for loop only.
if you
see,
want to
Control the
know,
behavior of the conditional statements.
okay.
For loop will execute until the condition will satisfy.
That would be
We can
same for any loop, right? What you guys are saying at the last, it would be same for any loop. I want to iterate, I can use while loop also. I have a condition, I can give condition in while loop also.
it's like
Then
So
we know the how
initialization,
many
condition, everything is in
how
single
many
line.
If we know the number of iterations, like
number
before
of
only.
iterations.
if you want to know the number of days in a week, we know that condition is having an seven iterations will be there. No, we can take this an example, Amitabh. There the conditions are fixed. That seven conditions. In this condition, we will use a for loop. Actually,
okay. So the advantage of for loop, what I feel over the while or do while or any other loop you guys will be practicing, that what she has said, like when you know the iteration numbers, it's easier to operate on the for loop. Why? Because like for while or do while, it's not clear when the incremental and decremental status and how it will work. But for loop, while we are initializing the loop itself, we are having all the things together, right? Initialization till the condition, like exit condition, and also the operation, the incremental or decremental. That's why mostly we don't use again inside it. Okay. In the for loop, we don't have to, because in the while loop you have seen, right? If I change the places of the increment or decrement as per their position, they can change the value of themselves. And one more advantage, what I feel like, if you know the output, okay, like someone has given you that you have to create this output like 1 to 9, you have to print 1 to 9, or maybe you have to create an output of a triangular structure with the stars, or you may have to do something else. So when you know the output, you will already know what you have to print with what type of looping you need, right? How many characters you have to put for a particular loop, how many numbers of iteration you have to put. So based on that, actually you can try to have this for loop where the output you already know. You don't have to, because based on the output you can see few things. First, the loop number, how many iterations are needed. Second, where from it's starting, what is the digit it's starting from, and where it's ending. So all the three things are there, right? When any output is given, like someone says you have to create a structure which looks like this. Getting my point? What I'm trying to say? When someone is saying you that you have to create a structure like this, you already know, okay boss, I need 1 2 3 4 iterations. It would be starting from 6, it would be ending in 1, 6 4 2 1. So what would be the decremental rate and how many loops you need? So it's always better to go ahead with the for loop then. And for loop has a huge advantage, that is for the nested for loop. Nested for loop helps you to like operate multiple characters together. Like when you guys would be doing this star programming, like I'll give you some to practice for today. When you'll be doing this star programming, the triangle programming and all this, so you not only need to control the star, you also need to control the spaces. Here is space, right? Because the space is here, first line the space is 0, the second line space is 2, sorry 1, the third line space is 3, 2, and here it is 3. So space number is increasing, whereas the star number is decreasing in 2 decremental status. Space number is increasing in 1 incremental status. So when you have multiple things to work on, the nested for loop works like a magic. Okay. So for as an advantage, where you know the output, you know the iterations, you know where to start, where to end, and you have multiple things to work on, the for loop is better than any other loop in Java language. So better to use the for loop, and nested for loop practice would be needed, because sometimes in multiple companies, while they are giving the freshers interview, they might ask you to do this type of coding. Okay, might. I'm not saying it must, but coding round is there for freshers. Until unless you are experienced for 3 years of blocks, they might give you basic Java programming. So what are the common patterns? So you can just search in the Google that common patterns for loop practicing. They have given for the C. You can try these all, like the first line till here. Okay, till this 6 are very important. It's very common. This 6, first 6. So you can try all this. Got me right? These are easy. Like here, there is no spaces. It's just a star pattern that you have to control. Nothing else. The star is increasing by 1. Here the star would be starting. Here is the space is there, because this many spaces would be there at the first. Then the space is decreasing 1 by 1 and the star is filling it up. This is one of the most important one. This one and this one. This third and sixth. Can you guys take a screenshot, please? The first 6 is important. Okay, you guys can try to have, and everything solution you will get in.
1 minute. 1 minute, Amita. We will take a screenshot.
So any solution, if you guys are stuck on doing this, so you guys can just search out the pattern like through your Google Lens in mobile, or maybe in the internet only, that right-handed, how to do a right-handed pyramid in Java. So you will get the reference code also if you are stuck. But try yourself first. See what is the difference between what you are trying and what they are providing as an answer. Okay. The
Yeah.
more you
Okay,
practice
Amita.
on this, the more you will know about how the nested for loop works. Just practice this for 6, that would be enough. Okay. Okay. Now this this is a for loop. Okay. So for loop, the more you guys practice, you will know. And I know it will take one more day just to check your, like, you guys will get stuck, come back and forth. That will happen. So just practice first those. If you guys have any doubt, we'll resolve it out. Okay. If you guys are not
Okay,
understanding,
Amita.
maybe you guys have gone through the solutions and you guys are not getting how the solution is helping, so then we can connect on this. Then another type of looping is there, that is do while loop. So anyone have any idea what is do while loop?
It tells us when to
First,
exit the loop, uh, Amitabh, and also at least one
with
time the block of code will be executed before checking
without
the.
checking condition.
Okay, so you guys are saying this is a while loop, right? What you guys have already seen, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
Yeah, Amita.
there is a do while loop now. So do is like this. So what is the difference between these two, this while and do while?
In while it checks the condition and then the
First,
code will be executed. In do
Mhm.
while, first it prints at least one time. It will
first,
print the block of code, and again after that it
then
checks the
we'll
condition.
check
I
the
mean,
condition.
while is entry controlled and this is exit controlled
Yes.
statement.
Correct. Anyone
In
else
do
wants to add anything?
in do while whether
Yeah.
first it will print the statements, then later the condition it will check the condition.
In Dovell, we can achieve the first execution of the code, even
Yes.
if it doesn't meet the requirement.
Yes. That's the same thing. Whatever you guys are saying, everything is same. That is the correct, also correct. Which is like in the do while loop, the advantage is like at least one time the iteration will happen, because the
Mm.
action is previous to the condition. The condition is at the latter part of the code. So see, if the compiler starts from here, so first it will print out, right? Then it will increment. Then it will check the condition. Correct. So
No,
before the
first it will
condition
check the
itself,
condition, then it will.
sorry.
In do while it will check the condition first, then it will print the result. If the condition is satisfied, then it will print the output.
What are you trying to say? That it will check the condition first here,
Yeah,
then it will then it, then
what I am saying is, if I am not wrong, while if the condition is, it will check the while the condition I is equal to less than 10,
Mhm.
then it will do the printing the output.
Okay, one second. Right. Okay, so who are with Khalil?
Yeah, yes.
Can anyone raise like whoever is supporting Khalil, that yeah, there would be first the condition check, then the output will come. Can raise your hand.
In do while, Amitabh?
In do while, yes.
No.
Okay, let's see. I'll change the ice value and I'll delete this part also. So I've given I equals to 11, right, Khalil? Now, what others are saying, because I equals to 11, the condition doesn't satisfy, correct?
Yeah.
So what others are saying, there would be an output of 11 at first. Then it will see the condition. So there will be an output for us, at least one output. And what you are saying, the condition would be checked first. So there would be nothing as an output, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think has happened here?
If the condition is not satisfied, then it will why performing this loop is performing. Yeah.
That's the thing I was saying, that see, uh, what I told last day, right? Compile Java is a compiled up language, right? Java will compile the whole whatever the code you have written as a whole together and will create a dot class. Now JVM will go as interpreter, okay? JVM will go line by line. So for JVM, the line number 9 says that I equals to 11, correct? So it's entering the do while loop now. So here the I value is 11. 11. So it will print out what? 11 only, right? Then it will increment
Yeah.
by 1. So it became 12, correct? Even if you want, I can show you, like here also, if I give I again, it will be printing 12. And then it comes to the condition. Does this condition satisfy? No, right? It's false. Because it doesn't satisfy, it will not enter the loop again. That's the point. At least one time iteration will happen. Now, if I print it out, there will be two outputs, 11 and 12. Because I have two CISO before the condition. Do while has the advantage that at least once this loop will rotate even without checking the condition. That is the advantage and disadvantage, both you can say. That is the difference of while and do while. Or else both would have been same, right? What is happening in the while? While is saying that was I has to be less than 10. Then within the block, you can print out the I. And then you can increment the I for the next iteration, correct? This was our while loop. So here, if the compiler comes, the line number 20 will first check the condition. If the condition satisfies, then only it will enter the while block, correct?
Yeah.
But here, the do block comes first. Do something, then later check what is the condition. So because the do block is previous to any condition given, so it will first do whatever the things are recommended, then it will check the condition. There is a chance the condition doesn't satisfy at the first itself, right? So even without condition satisfying, like in this case, the condition doesn't satisfy, still the do block is getting executed. It will not skip that part, right? Compiler cannot directly jump to the line number 17 and check and then come back to 13, 14, 15, 16. It's not like that. It will go line by line. So first it will obviously check the do block, will execute whatever is there. Then it will check the condition for the next iteration. If the condition doesn't satisfy, it will not go for any iteration. If the condition satisfies, there would be an iteration again and again until the condition is true. Clear, Khalil?
Yeah. If the compiler is check line by line code, but
Yeah.
how it identify the if suppose we write 5 lines of code to print something hello world, sixth line we made a mistake, uh, or intentionally we made a mistake, then how it's identify the sixth line having the code, then it will block the all the code, then it will not print the output.
Okay. So just I'll give others to chance and answer. Did you guys got the question what Khalil is asking?
So,
So Khalil,
it's
Khalil is
a
asking that I am writing the 6 lines of code. Okay.
it's
Now,
line by line. If made a
yeah,
mistake in a sixth line.
I have made a mistake on 6th line. The above 5 lines are correct.
Uh,
But if I have a mistake on
correct.
the 6th line, when I try to run the code, it throws an error and there is no output.
Then why
If
it is
it,
not printing fifth up to fifth line? Then it will throw an error into the sixth
yes.
line.
So
It will
why there
block
is
the
no
all the.
error? Yes. It should have at least printed the first 5 lines if we go line by line, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can anyone answer this?
Can I, Amitabh? Can I
Yeah,
try?
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Actually, the compiler will run the code at a time, all the 6 lines. If any syntax errors are there or not, it will check. Then that is the reason they have. The first 5 statements also not printed.
Correct.
After that compilation, it will goes to the JVM. The
Compile.
interpreter will check at that time.
Correct. Yeah, Chinna, go ahead.
So, while compiling, if you have any errors between the lines, it won't actually compile and it won't go to the interpreter level.
Yes. So, Khalil, as they have said, that's correct actually. I'll explain it more to you. So, something, whatever you guys are, or whatever we are writing is a high level language, correct?
Yeah.
So, this high level language will go through the compiler and will get as an assembly level language. Assembly level language. This assembly language level language will go to the JVM and will get the output through the machine level language. Okay. Like here, the machine level language gets created, and from here you get the output. That's the process. So now, whatever you have written the high level language, it's a maybe uh, p.java. Okay, it's a p.java file. So compiler will compile this whole thing together. That's why Java is a compiled of language. The whatever the lines you have written, thousands of lines, 6 lines of code, anything, it will get compiled all together and it will create a p.dot class. Okay. And while compiling, if compiler gets any syntax error, it throws the error and stops the compilation and asks the user, boss, you corrected there. Okay. For us here, do you have any syntax error? No, right? We have written everything perfectly. There is no syntax error. We are not breaking anything. Correct, Khalil?
Yeah.
And then it goes to the JVM. Now JVM is an interpreter. I told you, right?
Yeah.
JVM is an interpreter. So it goes line by line. Now JVM starts going through this dot class line by line, line by line. Then it gives you the output as line by line only. Now here are two things, and I'm going to say two words which would be with you for the whole object-oriented programming language. That is this process of high-level language to assembly language is called compile time. Compile time. And this one is called as runtime. So the syntax errors and all these things are detected by the compiler while he is doing the compilation. That's why it's called compile time. And runtime is something that your class or whatever you have written has got compiled. Compiler didn't see any error or anything absurd there. But while JVM is running them one by one, line by line, then JVM is able to see some errors, some dysfunctionalities, some uh, break through the code. That would be called runtime errors. Even errors are also two types of errors are there. Okay. One is compile time, one is runtime. What you see as a syntax error, those are like everything is compile time because the compiler is stopping you here only. There is no .p class created because you have done something error, because you have mistaken a semicolon. Maybe you have mistaken one braces. Maybe you have written some language which is not known by Java. So compiler is not able to compile it to the dot class. That's why it's a called compile time. And once the compilation has happened, now JVM will go line by line only. So here also it is happening that when you are writing this piece of code, there is no error, correct? No compilation error is coming. So when I'm saving this looping.java is creating a looping.class. Okay. Now looping dot class has been created. Now it will enter the runtime environment when I'm clicking on this button. Okay. When I'm clicking on this button, the interpreter will go line by line. It doesn't matter what I've written now. If the do block is first, it will do the do first. If the while block is first, it will check the condition first, because it's an interpreter. It doesn't have any knowledge. It just knows how to go line by line, whatever is written. Got my point?
Yeah.
Even
my doubt
yeah,
is like it's a in conditional statements, the condition is the main thing.
yes,
Yes, it is satisfy or dissatisfy. Based
yes.
on the condition, the result will
There
be
should be
print
some
in the
action.
console.
There
Yeah.
should be some action, right? But here the do while loop is the exception. That's
Okay.
why if anyone asks you like what is the feature of do while loop, the feature of do while loop itself is even if the condition doesn't satisfy, it will complete one iteration for sure, because the do action comes first.
Okay. That's why I got the doubt
That
here.
is the advantage of do. And if you feel like here the condition is coming later, there's the do is coming later, and if the interpreter goes line by line, it's all about the compile time and runtime. Like you guys got what I am trying to say about the compile time and runtime? Like it's not only for because of this looping, I'm saying an overall. Like, did you guys get it? Any doubts there?
No, Amitabh.
No, it's a clear.
It's very simple. That I'm repeating again because it's important. So here you have written your high level language code or system.out.println and 100 of lines. That is .java. From there, the compiler will take the actions. It will compile it. While compilation itself, all the syntax error, all the misses of semicolon, misses of braces, some type of error, whatever it comes, it will be checked. That's why it's called compile time, because compiler is doing the compilation, and then it will become the class. And from once the class is created through the assembly level language, the JVM will take over as an interpreter. It will give you the output, and that's why it becomes runtime. And for JVM, it doesn't matter what you have written in the code anymore. For JVM, it matters what it has got in the dot class. So it will go just line by line of that class. It will just execute and give you the output. Okay, that's what is compile time and runtime is. And it's very important. Like once you enter the oops, you will know like there are multiple things which are dependent on something happens on compile time, something happens on runtime, something happens on runtime, something happens on compile time, and you have to remember those with logic, why it's happening in compile time, why it's happening in runtime. So that's how I just wanted to give you an idea that why when you are missing a brace, like if I just delete a brace here, it's a compile time error, because the compiler is getting problem with compilation. It's saying, boss, you have need to put an extra base here, and it's gone. And now the dot class is successfully created. Now whatever is in the inside the dot class, it will go line by line only. That's it. Clear, right?
Yes.
Okay. 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 So for looping also there are two keywords. Okay. One is break, one is continue. These are keywords. Like if I type them in the code, it would be highlighted like this. These are keywords. So break, you guys already know, right? Break means to come out of any particular loop or condition. Correct. So even for the looping, you can understand why break is needed. Like you are running a code of maybe 1 to 1000. Okay. But you need an out, like you want to stop it within 360 or 350. So you will just give if condition there inside, like in a condition here only, like if no for loop is there. So, uh, so here we are doing from 0 to 10, right? 0 to 9. So if I give here if I equals to 6, don't need the braces but break. So I'm saying if the I equals to 6, then break it. Okay. So what will happen?
Okay. Whenever I is equal to
Uh,
6, Exit
One second.
the loop.
Yeah, tell me.
So whenever I is equal to 6, exit the current iteration outside of the loop.
Okay, got it now. So I'm saying I'm driving a loop, as I told you, right? You are driving a loop. There is a chance that at a particular condition or till a particular number you want to continue the loop, then you want to break it. Okay, so you will just give that if I equals to 6, then break it. That's the point. That means you are coming out. Break means coming out of a loop or coming out of a condition, right? So the same thing it will be working here also. And can anyone tell me what is the function of continue?
The continue, it means the skipping the current iteration. They give the control to access the next iteration.
Okay. Anyone else wants to add anything? What is the function of continue?
Continue after the iteration.
After the
It will
iteration, that sixth one got missed, and the remaining will be executed up to the 10th, Amitabh.
The
Okay.
control you to access next iterations. Skipping the current iteration.
Okay. Correct. So the continue has a functionality where like there's so if I have an iteration from 0 to 9, that means there are 10 times of iteration is happening. So for a particular for a particular part or iteration here, I'm saying continue means this particular when the value will come for I to 6, it will just continue. Okay, like it will skip that particular iteration for whatever for the sixth value, whatever the things should be there, it will just skip it, and then it will continue to the next iteration. It will start from the next iteration again till the condition satisfies. So can anyone tell me what will be the output here for this what I have written here?
It will skip only 6 number,
it
rest
will
of
skip
1
6
to
only.
Now I'm asking
it
what
will
would be
print
the
0 to 9
0 to
except
9.
6, sir.
0 to 9
0
executes.
to
0
9.
to 9.
0 to 9?
Yes.
6 would
Except
be
6.
Except 6,
6 will
0 to
skip.
9.
except 6 from 0 to 9, it will execute, Amitabh.
okay.
No, sir. 6 only.
Why 6 is there?
Yes, sir. It's 6 also would continue. Whenever
Why
before the condition check, it will be print the number system out
correct.
I.
When I'm asking you guys what will be the output, first check what is the code. Before the continue itself, the system is printing the number, right? It's already printed. The 6 is printed. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Amitabh.
Yes, sir.
Now what would be the answer?
It will skip 6 number.
Now it will skip 6, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
The continue, break, all these things comes before the action actually. Here I showed like post action, but actually it comes before the action, because if you want to skip this particular iteration when I equals to 6, that means whatever the actions related to that, you want to skip those, right? So my action was system.out.println, so I want to skip that part too. So you have to keep the continue and break before every action. That's why I asked you guys, and you guys directly said okay, there would not be any 6. There would be, because I have done like this, and already the system.out.println is previous there. So whenever some piece of code is given to you guys, first notice what is the things are there. Okay, I'm saying no, if anyone asks for the output, be an interpreter yourself. Okay, that's the best thing you can do. Go line by line and then check what are the things it is there, and you have to give a blind output. Any piece of code is given to you, be an interpreter yourself. Cool. That's all about the loops. Okay, like these are the 3 types of loops. And do while loop and while loop you might not be like coming across in the practice or while doing day-to-day life looping. It would be always for loop. Okay, for loop or nested for loop. But interviewer may ask you what is the difference between while loop and do while loop. So you can just say that do while loop has one iteration by default, which while loop doesn't have. While loop checks for the condition first. And for the for loop and nested for loop, the practicing those 6 will help you just to gain the knowledge how looping works. Okay. So practice those 6. Maybe all 6 is not possible in one day. So first 3 practice tomorrow. Okay. First 3 practice tomorrow. You have any doubts? Let's discuss tomorrow. And then even if we are changing the topics, not an issue. But the last 3 practice 7 day after tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, Amitabh.
Okay.
And tomorrow we'll just first solve the doubts and check how you guys have done. I'll check tomorrow, and then we'll enter one non-primitive data type, array.
Okay, Amitabh.
Okay.
Because until unless we do array, there is one more type of loop is there, which is for each. So we can't do for each until unless we have a knowledge of array. So first we'll do array, then we'll do the for each loop, then we'll enter the oops. Okay. So I think hardly 2 to 3 days to enter the oops.
Okay.
Okay, Amitabh. Yeah.
Cool. But first practice, like before you enter the oops, close these loops from your side also. You do 2 or 3, whatever you want tomorrow, but complete it before we enter the oops. Okay.
Okay, Amita.
Okay.
So as I said, first see the pattern. First you try to do yourself. If you are not getting, check the answer. Compare your own code to the answer one so that you get the knowledge why they have done something else at the point which you are doing. Okay. You have to understand. And till there, you try to do the code again. You may not able to do the code again even after seeing the answer. Okay. Like once you have gone through the answer, then you try to do it again. You may not be able to do that. But I would say don't like try to remember the code. Like understand the code, then try to do it. If you are not getting, say it again understand, again do it. But better to understand and do the code. Don't remember because the patterns will change time to time. Okay. Interview will not give you this same 6 patterns. But I want you guys to know how the inner loop is working. That's it. So understand the code in a better way.
Yeah, Amitabh. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Amita.
Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye bye.
Thank you.